Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, the 20th of August, and it is episode number 5 of the Beyond the Mat podcast with JoshhyWrestling. I hope you are all well. I hope it has been a good week for you since episode number 4. If you haven't seen that one yet, go back and check it out. Another great episode of the podcast. The reviews are glowing. The podcast has been great up to this point, and this week we've had record amount of questions being sent through from people in the Discord server, from people commenting on videos, from people on all of the socials. So thank you very much. We've got a very, very stacked episode number 5. Probably the most stacked episode that we have to date. I am very, very excited. It has been a very big week for myself. First off, we got the 15,000 followers on TikTok. I am absolutely over the moon with that 15,000 followers. This Saturday actually marks 365 days as a content creator. I hadn't even hit a year yet, and I was like, I would really like to hit 15,000 followers a couple of months ago. If I can do that, I'll be super happy. I'll get a giveaway going, and that was the incentive. We got there. We hit 15,000 followers. And I'm absolutely ecstatic. Couldn't even believe that we hit 1,000. Never mind 15,000 in the first year of doing it. I absolutely love it. I would not go back. I really would not go back. I don't know what. I don't know. It would be a hugely missed opportunity if I never. I can't even imagine myself not doing this anymore. If I'm honest, 2 videos a day, the podcast weekly. It's small to some people, but to me, this thing is absolutely huge, and I absolutely love doing it. 2 videos every single day. We got the podcast every week, long form, 40, 50, 60 minutes long. I'm sat here talking to a camera. If you were to tell me that I would be doing this 1 year ago, not even 1 year ago, 23rd of August, 2024 was the first time I recorded a video. It was an AEW video, and it wasn't great. But if you were to tell me that 365 days later that I would be able to confidently sit and talk to a camera for almost 60 minutes, I would call you the craziest person that I've ever met in my entire life. Now I am sat here. I love making videos. I love creating content. I love building a community and talking to people. Josh from 365 days ago to JoshhyWrestling 365 days later are 2 completely different people. I would like to thank you for the journey that you have come on with me. Next week, we're going to surpass the 365 days. Thank you so much. Guys, wherever you are in the world, let me know in the comment section down below. Give me a 5-star wherever you're watching as well. If you're on Apple Podcasts, if you're on Amazon, if you are on Spotify, you can leave a 5-star rating or a star rating. And also a little comment if you could as well. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a comment down below as well. Do you like the episodes? What's going well? What's not going well? What would you like to get answered on episode 6, next week's episode of the podcast? This is episode number 5. Welcome. We have got so much to talk to and about. There is so much going on this week in professional wrestling. First off, we've just finished Monday Night Raw. That went down from the Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. It was an okay show. Not too bad. It's the final US show before they do come to the UK. We've got Friday Night SmackDown. UK in Dublin, we've got Friday Night SmackDown this Friday. That goes down from the 3 Arena. That's very exciting. We have got a full week ahead. This Saturday, I'm going to be at WWE Liverpool. This Sunday, as of a couple of days ago, I will now be attending AEW Forbidden Door 2025 in the O2 in London. And I am very, very, very excited. I did not believe it was possible. I thought we were too busy. And to be fair, we are too busy. I mean, we have WWE Liverpool on Saturday. We have AEW Forbidden Door on the Sunday, going into Monday as well. We're going to be staying over. And then the weekend afterwards, we do have Clash in Paris. Yeah, we are super excited to go to Clash in Paris. We're super excited for all 3 events. 4 events if you include the Monday Night Raw as well. Honestly, super lucky, fortunate, privileged to be able to go to all these wrestling shows. Like, it really is awesome. It's the biggest passion of mine, but I understand that a lot of people can't make it to events, and for that I say I'm very humble that I am able to go to events, and I am fortunate to. Honestly, all the support, thank you. It's going to be a great couple of weeks. Like I said, I've just finished up Monday Night Raw, and I thought it was an okay show. Naomi's pregnant. Naomi has vacated the Women's World title. And wow, I could not be any more happier for Naomi and Big Jim. Like, Naomi was going, so she's, she obviously isn't cleared for last week's match against Io Sky for the world title. It raises some questions. We know that something is going on with the world champion. What is going on? There's been a lot of speculation around what is going on. A lot of people on Twitter jumping on kind of the same bandwagon, and it turns out that it is true. Naomi is pregnant and will be taking, to be fair, significant time off, and so she should. She has spoke heavily recently about how she would like to have a child with Big Jim, and that she was getting older, and she would be kind of, the older she gets, the less likely it's going to happen, and, everyone is happy. She's pregnant. Fantastic. I could not be any happier for both of them. They seem like super incredible people. So absolutely huge news. Absolutely amazing. A lot of people saying online that it's a shame because her career is absolutely blowing up right now, but look, there's not a comparison. You can't compare the two things. She wants to be a mom. That's going to be so much bigger than her going through her best run in WWE right now. And also, she's leaving on a pop. Like, she's leaving on a huge note. The people were saying her catchphrase, the caution stuff, with her. We haven't seen that before. The crowd was really loud for her. The crowd was super happy. We're going to see a return in Naomi in probably 18 months to 2 years. And when she does, the crowd is going to go crazy. I absolutely love the final chat that she had kind of in the ring. She's going out in the way that she did not foresee going out, but she's gone over with the crowd. The crowd absolutely loved it. It felt like a real life moment that we were sharing in the ring there. Because it was a real life moment. Super happy for Naomi. Super happy for Big Jim. And look, now we have a vacated Women's World Championship. What is going to happen with that? We know that Stephanie Vaquer was meant to take on Naomi, or the Women's World Champion, at Clash in Paris. What is that going to look like now? There's a lot of uncertainty around what that is going to look like. We do not know what Stephanie Vaquer's position is going forward with the championship. We don't know who is in the title picture at all. We've got one more Monday Night Raw to decide if we're going to do this thing at Clash. Are we going to have a multi-person match to determine the new Women's World Champion? I'd love to see a Rhea Ripley, an Io Sky, a Stephanie Vaquer, maybe a triple threat match, maybe throw a returning Bianca Belair into the mix. Probably not. I'm just kind of fantasy booking at this point. That is something I would absolutely love to see. I would love to see that title be picked up at Clash. I really would. A couple of other things that we picked up from tonight's Monday Night Raw. Sheamus versus Rusev has now been added to Clash in Paris. It's a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Very excited for that. Very excited. If there are two men that know how to hit hard in the ring and get weapons involved, it is Rusev and Sheamus. Sheamus, a first singles PLE attendance since 2022. How incredible is that? Sheamus obviously took a lot of time off. He came back a little bit bigger. He got in the shape of his life again. And it's crazy that we haven't seen him on a PLE since 2022. He is a talent. He is a fan favorite. He is a hard hitter. He is a grafter. He is someone that absolutely deserves as many opportunities as possible. And look, he needs an IC championship. He does need that. I really hope he gets that before he ends his career. Step number one is getting him back on a PLE. And right here, we're going to see Rusev versus Sheamus one final time in Paris. Also, Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns. Now, this wasn't actually announced yet. We haven't got a graphic for that yet. But we do know that Roman Reigns is kind of the poster boy for Clash in Paris. He's on all the posters, but he does not yet seem to have a match. Well, at the end of this past week's Monday Night Raw, last night's Monday Night Raw, there was obviously Roman Reigns coming out. He's hitting a Superman punch on Bronson Reed. He's hitting Braun Breaker with the spear. He's getting involved in the Extreme Rules match at the end of Monday Night Raw between Braun Breaker, a main event, Jey Uso. The odds were stacked against Jey Uso. Of course, LA Knight's there, CM Punk's there, and finally Roman Reigns. Bronson Reed and the rest of Seth's guys have been all over Roman every single time we've seen him. Bronson Reed becoming the Surefalla. Crazy. The tribal thief. He's stealing Roman Reigns' shoes, and I'm here for it. I absolutely love it. How crazy is that? Wrestling, right? Wrestling. So at the end of it, they've got a bit of a heated exchange. They're saying, I'll see you in Paris. I will see you in Paris. So I'm hopefully that match gets officially booked. I think it will be. Michael Cole was talking about it on the commentary, although we haven't seen it really officially booked yet as of the recording of this episode. And this is Tuesday night, Tuesday the 19th of August. What we do have booked, though, and this is kind of going to fall into what the initial question was with John. John Reed 3 is asking, what match do you want / think will be on the Clash in Paris card? We know that we're getting John Cena versus Logan Paul. We're going to get that World Heavyweight Championship match. Seth Rollins defending against Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. I think that one is probably going to headline, maybe Cena kicking the night off, or maybe Cena even headline. I think it's between those two in terms of who headlines as such. We now know that we're going to get Sheamus versus Rusev. A match that I would really like to see, John, is Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. We saw, these two have been going at it for a while, obviously. We saw them fight at SummerSlam. Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles one-on-one. Lots of great Eddie references. But ultimately, Dominic Mysterio ended up walking out with the IC title after that boot to the head to AJ. Really good stuff. Really enjoyed all the Eddie stuff in that match. But we know how over AJ Styles is in France. They've got the Phenomenal song. Okay, the Phenomenal song wasn't made for AJ Styles, but they absolutely love AJ Styles in France. It makes sense to me to book AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio for the IC title in France. Can we please book that match? AJ Styles is one of my favorite of all time. Dominic Mysterio is on an incredible run. He's done some great things over in AAA these last couple of weeks as well. We've seen him in the Fatal 4-Way at Triple Mania, and we saw AJ Styles cost him that match. We need to see that at Clash in Paris. That would probably be, even though Seth's on the card and also Cena's on the card and also Roman is on the card, that would probably be my favorite or most anticipated match for the night, because I would love to see AJ Styles take the win in France, somewhere that they absolutely love him. What are we going to do with that women's world title is a question that I've got on my mind. Do we have too many multi-person matches? We have Jay versus Seth versus LA versus Punk. That is the only multi-person match, actually, if I think about it. Could we have a potential Stephanie Vaquer, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky kind of mashup in there somewhere? A triple threat match, maybe a fatal 4-way. Maybe we are gonna do something with that. Do we crown it there, or do we wait till Over the Limit? Over the Limit, possibly. It's between Over the Limit and a WrestlePalooza at the minute. I don't even know if I've said that right. What is going to be the name of the September 20th card, the same one that goes up one-on-one against AEW All In. We know that Brock Lesnar and John Cena are probably going to meet on that card because they need something to go up against AEW. They don't, by the way. They don't need anything to go up against AEW. They do not need to counter it. That's all I'm going to touch on here. So are we going to wait that long to get a women's world champion? I don't think so. I think that we are going to see a women's world title match on the Clash in Paris card. And if that's the case, man, this card is absolutely stacked to the rafters. I mean, what other matches could we potentially have? Could we have a Nikki Bella versus a Becky Lynch for the women's IC title? I don't think we're going to do anything with the men's US title for a little bit. There was a little bit of movement over there, but I just don't think we're gonna do anything with that currently. Maybe the women's tag titles. I think it's only going to be a 5 or 6 card match card, in fairness, and that does put us up to 5. Off the top of my head, I don't think we're going to see Tiffany. Yeah, I think it's probably going to be 5. If that's the 5, then I'm pretty happy with that. I can't lie to you, John. It's Clash in Paris Road 2 week as well. We've got the Road to Clash in Paris. This Friday, we're kicking off with Dublin, Ireland at the 3 Arena. We've got WWE Liverpool, which I'm going to be at. We've got WWE Newcastle on the 24th. Monday Night Raw in Birmingham. Michael Cole calling that Birmingham for some reason this week. We've got Manchester on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to Leeds. Thursday, we're going to Cardiff. Friday, we're going to Lyon, France for Friday Night SmackDown. On the Saturday, we have got... on the Sunday, we have got Clash in Paris, followed by Monday Night Raw as well. If you are at any of those shows, let me know in the comment section down below, because this is going to go out before we start the tour. The tour starts on Friday. If you're going to any of the shows, let me know if you're going to Liverpool, if you're going to Clash, or if you're going to the Monday Night Raw, or even AEW Forbidden Door as well. Please do let me know. Come and say hi. If you do spot me, it would be very, very cool to meet as many people as possible. I'm very, very excited. The missus is very, very excited. It's gonna be such a good 2 weeks. I'm very, 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 very excited. I keep saying it. I cannot portray how much I want to get through the work week and straight into the wrestling. But we digress. It is Wednesday. Grant is asking, who do we want to see as Cena's last opponent? For me, it's got to be Randy Orton. I would love to see Randy Orton and Cena run it back one more time, if I'm honest. But I think the reason I say that, the reason I actually say Randy Orton is because we know how long their feud was. I would probably almost have Cena redo his run as the heel, but as the face. I mean, I would love to see heel Randy Orton versus a face John Cena, if I'm honest. I didn't really want to see the way that it went down. And also, we saw Cena versus Cody at WrestleMania, and that doesn't even scratch the surface of how good SummerSlam was between Cena versus Cody. So what I'm getting at is, okay, it would be a duplicated match, but I would like to see it the other way around, with Randy being the heel, Cena being the face, and also being able to put it on at the level that Cody and Cena put it on, because that was my favorite match of the entire year. I can't lie to you. It was such a good match. It's a better Cena, the best Cena that we've seen all year. Maybe the best Cena we've seen since 2011 Money in the Bank versus CM Punk. I think that he would be a great final opponent if done right. Who else? Edge. I would absolutely love to see Edge versus Cena. I would like to see Bron Breakker versus Cena, but I only want to see the Cena that we are now getting. Not the Cena that we saw, but the Cena that we are now getting, Grant also asked, are you excited for Clash in Paris? Yes, I'm going to be brief with this one, just because I kind of just went over it. It's my fault completely. Just kind of maybe I didn't structure this right, but 100% for 100% Grant, 100% man. It's a fresh market. It's a very exciting market, Paris. The French love it. They don't get very much WWE stuff. So when WWE arrive in France, France let them know. France is an absolutely fantastic market. It's going to be absolutely insane. And I think you're right about how predictable the Fatal 4-Way is. The second part of your question was you feel, or not so much the second part of your question, but you kind of followed on with the statement that you feel like the World Heavyweight title match is predictable. And I would say so too. I can't see any other ways than Seth Rollins picking up the win, if I'm honest. But I think there's going to be some big time moments. I think there's going to be some really, really nice wrestling in this match, if I'm honest. I think 4 well-experienced guys putting on a show. I can't see this match not being good. Whilst predictable, Seth will walk out the champion. I would put my house on it. But I'm very, very much excited for this match. I really am. You also ask, who is my favorite male/female on NXT at the moment? Okay, so favorite male, Ethan Page. Ethan Page has been my favorite for quite a while, probably since he actually rocked up in AEW. Such a huge fan, man. His charisma absolutely screams future star in the WWE, and there's no way that he isn't. He is great on the mic. He's a fantastic wrestler. He knows what it's like to be a champion. He's held the North American title twice. He's held the NXT title. He is someone that has come in and been able to slip into that NXT roster and the way that WWE do things very, very well. He has impressed me very, very much. He came from AEW, of course, so he was already very seasoned in terms of lots of people seeing him. And do you know what? I don't think his entrance into the WWE could have gone any better. Without a doubt, he is my favorite men's superstar at the minute. Female is currently, I say currently, it's been for a while, is Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka is 100% the future of WWE. She is absolutely outstanding. Athletic, charisma, chemistry as well in the ring with every opponent. She seems to be able to make anyone look good. The athleticism, you can tell she really likes to hone in on her crafts because she's got a very wide range of moves that she does very, very well. You know, I just think without a doubt, she looks like a champion. She feels like a champion. She's been a great champion so far. I mean, she's been holding the Women's North American for a while. She's also been holding the Speed Championship for a while, if we want to class that as anything. But I love that she's sticking the belts together. I honestly think she's great, and she is absolutely a future big star. She's already a star in my eyes, but I think she's a future big star. She, I think, is currently carrying the women's division for a little bit. A lot of great names on that women's division as well, though. Like, it is, in fairness, still the best women's division in the world, despite losing Julia and Roxanne Perez and Stephanie Vaquer as well. Before, if you were to ask me when Stephanie was about, it was definitely Stephanie. But I think right now, I'm going to go with Sol Ruka. I absolutely love NXT. I love both the male and the females. There are some great stars. There really, really are some great stars coming up in those locker rooms for sure. For sure. Lil Tills is asking, what is the best WrestleMania match of all time? The best WrestleMania match, not necessarily my favorite, but the one that I always speak about when someone says, what is your favorite WrestleMania match? I will also give you honorable mentions afterwards. But the best WrestleMania match of all time, in my opinion, is Undertaker versus HBK. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. If you haven't seen it, pause the podcast. Go and watch that match. That is peak wrestling storytelling at its finest. The drama, the crowd, the moves, the chemistry, it was perfect. In my eyes, WrestleMania 25, HBK versus The Undertaker was one of the most perfect things that we ever have seen in wrestling. It is one that you can just go and watch and think that you're going to just put it on in the back, but you actually sit and lock in, because despite watching it X amount of times and despite knowing who the winner is every single time, you still feel drawn to watching it as if it was your first time. That is an incredible match. It really is. If you haven't watched it, I would 100% recommend you to go and watch it. Two of the absolute best. Undertaker, in my eyes, is the greatest character in professional wrestling. Shawn Michaels, in my eyes, is Mr. WrestleMania. He knows how to put on a great show, a great match, a great storyline, a great feud. Two of my all-time favorites as well. So the fact that this is, in my eyes, the best WrestleMania match of all time. Honorable mentions, man. WrestleMania 17, the TLC match. It's incredible. Who else am I thinking of here? I'm thinking of John Cena versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 23. I'm thinking of Daniel Bryan, Batista, and Triple H. I'm thinking of, in terms of best, what else am I thinking of? Do you know what? I'm thinking two triple threat match from this year's WrestleMania. In fact, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. I absolutely loved that match. I'm also thinking of Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. Another incredible match, both from this year's WrestleMania, may I add. Both from this year's WrestleMania. Lil T also asked, do we prefer WWE's focus on entertainment or AEW's focus on wrestling? I love both. I can't lie. That's such a cop-out answer. I absolutely love both. I am a WWE fan deep down from the roots because that's what I grew up watching, right? That's what I grew up making the memories with my family, with my friends, with everyone around me. If you haven't seen episode 1 of the podcast, or if you haven't read my blog on how I got into wrestling, I'd probably recommend you watching the podcast or listening to the podcast episode number 1. But even if you're not a wrestling fan, you can appreciate kind of the words that I was saying and how I got to watch wrestling. And it was all WWE, right? It was WWE. It was a little sprinkle of TNA. AEW is still very, very new if we look at it. But I love both. I really, really do love both. The wrestling in AEW is incredible. But I feel like the storylines with WWE have always been more consistent. I think the weekly shows in WWE are more consistent, but I think the wrestling in AEW PLEs is very, very consistently high level and blows a lot of WWE PLEs out of the water. Which would I prefer, though? It's so hard to say. It's really, really hard to say which I'd prefer. Probably the entertainment, because I've always watched a lot of wrestling and I still watch a lot of wrestling. I watch WWE, I watch TNA, I watch AEW, I watch New Japan. I go to a lot of indie shows, so I see a lot of wrestling. But WWE is fantastic entertainment as well, and I have to give it its props. It does get a lot of stick. It really does. Was my opinion... Tilly also asked, what is my opinion on Triple H's booking compared to Vince McMahon? I mean, it's so different, right? It's so different. I thought that Triple H coming in was a breath of fresh air initially. I really did. The storytelling felt and feels a little bit more logical. Built up a little bit better. I mean, Triple H lately has been a little bit prone to leaving things very last minute before things get announced for PLEs. Whereas I feel like Vince was a lot better at making sure that we knew PLEs and they were well marketed, well in advance, you know. But I do like the unpredictability that Trips brings, you know. Vince, I believe, was more about spectacle as well. I feel these big arenas, these fireworks, the Titantrons are huge. Triple H is looking, and to be fair to Triple H, it's not just Triple H, you know. Triple H is unfortunately now sat under people. Triple H is now sat under the TKO banner, whereas Vince McMahon didn't need to be. This is, you know, Vince McMahon could do what he wanted at the set, you know, at his say. He wouldn't have to go through people, or, you know, if you ask Triple H if he wants fireworks and big Titantrons, I'm certain he does. But does TKO want to pay for these things? I'm certain they don't. And I think that's what we have to consider when we're comparing Vince McMahon versus Triple H. Like, we can look at them from a creative point of view, but when it comes to who was the spectacle and who prefers the details, we've got to remember that one could do what he wanted, and one had a multi-billion-pound organization on top of him that realistically make the bigger decisions than Triple H does. And it really is a shame, because this is now where we're at. You know, RTKO almost taking something away from us, potentially, absolutely potentially. But I think WWE is in a good place, despite a lot of crazy decisions as of late. I'm still enjoying what Hunter is doing without a shadow of doubt. Absolutely. Tilly, they're great questions. Thank you so much. Grant as well. Also great questions, my friend. Thank you very much. If I don't get through every single person's questions, we did have about 20 questions for this week's episode of Beyond the Mat podcast. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If I don't get through all of them, I want to make sure that these sit at about 50 minutes to an hour. I don't want them to go too crazy in terms of length, but I am going to try and get through as many questions as possible. Zlata, this is a great question, by the way. You're asking if I could have any superstar on the podcast, who and why. You also noted that it cannot be Seth Rollins. You said it cannot be Seth. Zlata knows me well. Zlata is in every single live, and she's telling me, she's a huge CM Punk fan, may I add. So she's telling me that we're not allowed to use Seth. She hates it when we play Seth in the live. She absolutely hates it. But to answer the question, it's a great question. If I could have somebody on the Beyond the Mat podcast, I would actually have The Undertaker. The Undertaker went 30 years as the dead man. He never did an interview once. Like, he kept kayfabe so safe for The Undertaker. Mark Calloway, that is, kept kayfabe so safe for The Undertaker. He didn't want it getting out what he was really like in real life. He wanted to keep The Undertaker under wraps. Why would the dead man do interviews? That just doesn't suit the character, the dark character that he is. And I love that. But what comes with that is knowledge, insane stories, a mix of history, wisdom, behind the scenes. You tell me you don't want to sit and talk to The Undertaker. If I could sit here for 20 minutes with The Undertaker and learn more in 20 minutes than I did in a full week of university. But that's the point, right? Taker has got all these stories. He knows everything about the business inside and out. And he has never told people about it because he has never wanted to break the character. Now he is the American badass. He is Mark Calloway. He is playing himself wherever we see him. He's not even playing a character. He is himself. He can talk about all these stories because that doesn't damage the reputation of The Undertaker. Could you imagine if Undertaker versus Mankind just happened and then The Undertaker's just backstage and just goofing around and being like, you know what? Yeah, just is what it is. You know, that's the sport. Imagine. But now, 30 years later, he's got his own podcast and he is telling some incredible stories. I absolutely try not to miss a single episode of that podcast because the man has been kept under wraps for 30 years. Now he's allowed to talk. People have got millions of questions because they've been built up until this moment right here. It's so cool to see. It really, really is cool to see. It would be The Undertaker without a doubt, Zlata. That's a great question, by the way. Thank you so much. Ethan, these are also great questions, my friend. You're asking, if I had to pick the following wrestlers' final matches in the WWE, who would they be? Do you know what? I'm going to rattle through these very quickly because you've got a lot of names here, okay? I wrote these down so that I can remember them. You said Seth. I said Cody Rhodes. I think their first Hell in a Cell was an incredible 5-star match. I would love to see that again. Final matches in the WWE. If it's not going to be Cody Rhodes for Seth, it has to be Roman for Seth. I think that would be a beautiful ending. I think that Roman and Seth go at it this next WrestleMania 42. But if we do that at 42, maybe we do Cody at 43 and we end it there. Brock Lesnar's final match, I would love to be Gunther. It feels like a passing of the torch moment. Two heavy hitters, two dominant wrestlers. I would really love to see that match being their final matches. CM Punk for me would again be Seth Rollins. He feels like he's the real hero and anti-hero right now. And Seth Rollins is without a doubt the anti-heel these days. Jey Uso, I would probably go for Jimmy Uso, but hopefully better than what their WrestleMania match was. I mean, they had the brother versus brother final chapter, one last chapter. That'd be a great way for them to go out. I think Undertaker, his last match should have been WrestleMania kind of before the streak was broken. I think that was enough. I don't think the streak ever needed to be ended, and I don't think he needed to do much more after that, you know? Becky, I think Rhea Ripley, because I think that would be the biggest match possible. Ronda Rousey, probably someone like Shayna Baszler, just because of how kind of tight they were. You know, obviously real life friends, getting each other into wrestling. For Charlotte Flair, I would actually go for Bianca Belair. It feels, despite Bianca being around forever, what feels like at this point, a passing of the torch moment, you know? AJ Lee, honestly, Bayley, like a dream generational match. You probably weren't expecting that one. And for Nikki Bella, I would actually go for a twin showdown with Brie Bella. I think that would be pretty epic. You also ask, who are the next? So who are the next? Then I name a superstar, and then I'll tell you who I think are the next of them. You asked, who is the next Batista? To me, it's pretty obvious. I think the next Batista is Braun Breaker. You asked, who is the next Eddie Guerrero? Dominic Mysterio, the cheeky heel charisma. That man is Eddie's son, man. I'm telling you. Kurt Angle, this one. Again, Chad Gable, the absolute technical wizardry. If these guys looked exactly the same, you wouldn't know which one Kurt Angle was. I'm telling you. Chad Gable is that damn good. Chad Gable is a very, very good wrestler. It's literally the perfect... Chad Gable is the modern day Kurt Angle, without a doubt. It could not be any closer. Shawn Michaels, I think Carmelo Hayes. He's flashy, smooth, he's got charisma, he's got style. Stone Cold, I've always said, is a mixture of LA Knight. So you asked who is the next Stone Cold, but I think this question here is, who is the next Stone Cold or The Rock? Because I think that LA Knight is the love child of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. They are just both mixtures of what the LA Knight character is right now. And I think he's tried to portray that. I think that's what he's gone for when they've decided what to do with this LA Knight character. He's great on the mic. He's charismatic. He is a great wrestler. He is without a doubt a mixture of those two wrestlers. Red Panda Walt asks, who do you think could be the next larger-than-life top heel in WWE? I've said his name once. I will say it again. I believe it's to be Braun Breaker. I mean, I think Braun Breaker needs to elevate his mic game a lot more. I think as a wrestler, he's very good. He's got the power. He's got the speed. But I think Braun Breaker needs to work on promos. I think he needs to be able to... The issue that he's currently got is he sits under Seth, and Seth is incredible on the mic. And not only does he sit under Seth, he also sits under Paul Heyman, the wise man, like the Oracle. Paul Heyman, also one of the greatest on the mic. What he's got now in the vision is this really tough spot where he's probably not going to get much mic time, but he needs to be on the mic in order to develop, because I'm not sure how he's going to develop that without being involved on the mic as much. He's got the look, he's got the intensity, he has got everything he needs to be a star, but he has to develop on the mic. Grayson Waller, could be a real great heel. He's great at kayfabe as well. He's really good at like going to these fan meet and greets and being the absolute heel. Like he seems to naturally do that very, very well. And I think he could be a really larger than life character. There's not a lot that he needs to do better. He just needs to be booked better, in my opinion. His arrogance, it's just enough to get under anyone's skin. And I think he is the perfect guy going forward to be a great heel, but they just need to book him better is the issue. Joshua asks, if you could rebook John Cena's retirement tour, what would you include? Well, I would rewrite the farewell tour to a certain extent. I would have John Cena turning heel, okay? I really enjoyed the John Cena heel turn for the most part. I didn't like the wrestling. But as fans, we have to understand that John Cena was never going to be the same wrestler that we saw wrestle CM Punk all them years ago, or Randy Orton over and over, or Edge, or Rob Van Dam. This is a, how old is he? 48-year-old John Cena that was never going to look like he currently was. So I wouldn't say I would change matches or change how good he was in matches, because unfortunately that's just how good he was, or how good he could have been with that much time away from the ring, that much time to prepare. What we saw, Cody at SummerSlam versus Cena was incredible. CM Punk versus Cena I thought was a great match. Cena is at the great point of his turn right now, where his matches now have become very good. He's got a lot better. You can tell that he's been very focused on getting better. But in terms of booking it, I honestly would have booked it in the sense of like an open challenge. So in the same way as that he won the the United States title all those years ago from Kevin Owens. No, it wasn't Kevin Owens, was it? Who did he take the title from? Was it? He lost it to... Honestly, it's slipping my mind. But the open challenge stuff that Cena had, I think would have been a really good idea going into his retirement tour. We could have had a lot of surprises. We could have had like an LA Knight pop up and take on Cena one more time. A Gunther, a Cody Rhodes, who would probably try and reclaim his belt. A Randy Orton, a CM Punk. Rather than them kind of being like, oh, right, well, Punk's next, or, oh, Randy Orton's next. I think it would have been a great shout to have the open challenge brought back, I think I would have had Randy Orton versus John Cena at WrestleMania as well. I think that would have been the perfect place to kind of accumulate that rivalry. And also with that, it would have probably elevated the next generation. That open challenge, if he's doing an open challenge on every show, almost every show he's at, then there would have been a lot of time to fit in your Bron Breakkers, your Carmelo Hayes, your Dominic Mysterios, your people up on the rise. We now know that he's going to take on Logan Paul in Paris, which I think is a great match, but I honestly wouldn't have had that in his final run. So that's definitely something I wouldn't have changed, but I really would have fell heavily on the open challenge stuff, because I really, really do like that. Ramirez is asking, who is my favorite general manager of all time? Without a doubt, it is Teddy Long. Nobody could hype up a tag team match like Teddy Long, or nobody could hype up going one-on-one with the Undertaker player. Teddy Long is the GOAT manager in my eyes. He really is. Favorite tag team? Ramirez asks. That would be the Hardy Boys. I grew up watching the Hardy Boys. I'd have the socks on my arms. I'd be doing you can't see it if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon, but I'm doing the Hardys thing right now. You know what I mean, the arm thing. And the Hardy Boys, man, what they did for tag team wrestling is just untouched. I mean, it's the same as the Dudleys, to be fair, as well. It's definitely those two at the top for me. But the Hardy Boys just push it because of how cool they were. They were so cool. And then seeing Jeff go on and have his matches with John Cena, and have his matches with Edge, and have his matches with Umaga, I absolutely love that time of wrestling, Mark Moran is asking, if there was an intergender match in WWE, who would you pick as the two wrestlers in the past or present? I went into this one not even having any notes for this. So I'm just going to spitball and see where we go, okay? I'm going to spitball and see where we go. Okay, what would I say? I would say I would probably try and match people on what they kind of their style, or maybe their culture, or something of that stature. I think maybe we would do okay, so I mean the first one seems like a pretty easy one if I was gonna do pick four wrestlers, but I would do Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee and CM Punk. That one feels like that could have happened if AJ Lee was a little bit more for it now. I think that could have been a lot of fun. let's think maybe Randy Orton versus Rhea Ripley. That's not something you've ever even thought of before. that seems absolutely crazy, but they're both dominant. They're both intense. I mean, Rhea Ripley versus Damian Priest, maybe they are kind of similar. Wow, that's a really tough question, Mark. I won't lie to you. I mean, what else? What else could there be? Roxanne Perez. Let's just spitball them, and they could be quite funny. Roxanne Perez versus Rey Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio versus Liv Morgan. That would have been funny, right? Okay, final question. Max is asking, what made me become a wrestling content creator? So, I mean, for a full detailed kind of answer, I would absolutely recommend you check out episode number 1 of the Beyond the Mountain podcast, because I do kind of go well into detail on all that kind of stuff. But briefly, I've always loved wrestling. Talking to a camera has never been natural to me, but it's something I wanted to develop, and I wanted to do something for myself, be creative on my own, and build something. And that's what this has become. And if I'm sitting here and I'm summarizing, I said the same thing to that exact question a year ago. And I sit here now summarizing, probably the first time I've actually sat and reflected. But that's exactly what I've done. I have taken things that I care about, or thing that I care about, that being pro wrestling. I've had a goal of wanting to become more creative, and that's where JoshhyWrestling was born. It was be creative, talk about something you care about, and here we are. Now I've built this fantastic community where we share opinions, we share dream matches, favorite matches, we share moments, we share memories. And honestly, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. We've hit 15,000 followers on TikTok, 20,000 across all socials, and I could not be any more thankful. Guys, thank you so much for all of the fantastic questions. We've got about 20 questions there. If any were not answered, I will push them on to next week. If you would like to send a question, you can send it on Spotify in the comment section. You can send it on Apple Podcasts. You can send it on Amazon. You can put it in the comment section of the YouTube video. You can send me something over in Discord, a message on any of the socials. You can also send me an email over to contact@JoshhyWrestling.com. That is right. We are all official. Contact@JoshhyWrestling.com if you want to email over any questions. Guys, you have listened to episode number 5 of Beyond the Mat podcast. I would like to thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Next week, episode number 6. Get your questions in. Make sure you follow the podcast wherever you're watching. Hit a like wherever you're watching and leave a 5-star. I will see you all on episode number 6. If you are on any of the socials, make sure you check into the lives as well every Monday, every Friday, and every PLE. Guys, have a fantastic week. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. And I will see you for episode number 6.